online broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing aftershows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows. Interviewing celebrities and showrunners. And bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
That's what I'm talking about right there. Yeah. Oh. I'm feeling like Milan right now. In his place, in his shoe room.
Yes.
Right? His accessorizing room. Right?
Yeah.
A little bit.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another amazing AfterBuzz TV after show for your favorite show, Hemlock Grove.
What?
What? And we're on season 3, episode 8, A Dire Night on the Worm Moon, or is it Wormwood? I thought it was Worm
Moon.
Wow, I was way off.
And we're in the final 3.
Final 3, including this episode.
Yes.
I am your host, Sean Overman, and you can find me at Sean Austin O on Twitter and Instagram, and I'm joined here by my awesome and lovely co-hosts, as usual, every week.
Hello, everyone. I'm Marisa Serafini. You can follow me on Twitter at Serafini TV.
And I'm Marielou Mandl. You can find me on all social media at Marielou Mandl.
Yes, and be sure to subscribe to us on YouTube, SoundCloud, iTunes, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, everything at AfterBuzz TV, and be sure to rate and comment us. So let's go ahead and start talking about the show. Marissa, did you have something else to add?
Before we actually start, Worm Moon is actually the phase of the moon.
It is.
It's a name of the. It's a name given by the Algonquin tribes, but it's pretty much when the ground begins to soften. In Earth, and like worms begin to reappear. That's when the robins return and whatnot. So the worms. So pretty much that happens in March of every year. So we now know it's like springtime.
Is it?
Springtime.
It's springtime there. Okay, so that I kind of can see that now because at the end of the episode, or even at the beginning too, like both of them are like digging into the earth, and we get to see like that it's pretty soft, right? It looks like the ground's pretty easy to toil, right?
Yes.
Till.
So that makes sense.
Yes.
If it is the worm.
It does. It does totally make sense. Thank you for anything, Marissa, that you have that like a little tidbit of information that you've researched.
Sure.
Go ahead and point it out. Please.
Listen, Marissa's like the best at that.
Yes.
I love it.
And she's such a busy woman. When do you find time?
I don't know. I don't sleep, you guys.
Right?
I really don't.
You're like, oh, what is a worm moon? Like, it's great. Like, that's awesome. It adds a lot for me.
I want to learn. I was like, what's worm moon?
Girl,
so
respect.
There you go.
Now we know.
Now we know.
And now all of our fans at home know, too.
The more you know.
I wish we had that
We do,
on the soundboard.
actually.
We do. On some of the soundboards or all of them.
Boom.
Oh,
That's
lovely.
amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you, Alexis, our producer in the booth. So Olivia, she brings Knox back. I can't believe it. This happened so quickly. I thought there was I predicted last episode there was going to be like a big gap for this to happen, but
She just has them already.
Yeah, she just like talked to him. There's the ellipse, and she like already has him in the White Tower.
I liked that though. I'm glad they made it a little bit faster. I mean, for our audience, that was super quick.
Yeah.
But that was like the next day. But I like where it went.
Yes.
That was fun to watch.
Everything was amazing about just the whole beginning of the episode. Well, of course, we had that was a little bit later on, but yeah, so let's talk about it right away. I just want to jump into it because it was the juiciest part of the whole episode. Everything that had to do with Price, Olivia, and Knox was just so freaking hilarious. So
amazing.
So they get Knox in there, and she doesn't even know what she's talking about. She's not a well-read person at all, right, Olivia? And she's just like, oh yeah, when Hillary something or other, he must have been on that Sherpa's back the whole time. And he's like, I don't think he really rode on his back.
Yeah, but you do know who she's referencing, right?
Yeah, the guy who climbed Everest,
the
right?
two guys who climbed Mount Everest, they were the first ones to do it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So anyway, they end up getting in there. And right away, Price already knows Knox. And he's like, oh my gosh, you're here. It's like
Yeah.
practically wetting his pants over the guy, right?
Oh, fan
Totally man
boy.
crush. Yeah.
Yeah.
But they liked each other, which is great. They were like fans of each other's work, and they never met each other before. So it was so funny, and he didn't know that Olivia had this in mind, right?
He's like, sweet, you brought me a guy to work with. This is awesome. Wait, no, you want to like use his body?
Yeah, you want to.
Dang it.
Yeah, you want
wanna
to
kill him.
Yeah, you want. Oh, so you pretty much want to wipe out his whole mind, who's like an asset to not only the human race but to the Upir race as well. Why would you want to do this, Olivia? And because she's just the most selfish, narcissistic, self-centered person ever, who doesn't give a damn about other humans. She only cares about what's happening in her world and the adjoining Godfrey residences, right?
True. And we also know she still has sordid information on Price's background. So, I mean, she was going to release that to the press.
Yep.
So she still has that on him. What it is, we still don't know.
Yeah, we still don't know exactly, but I'm sure it's pretty much just like everything about all the experiments he's been doing, right? Because he's
All the bodies. Because she made the line, like, all the bodies that he's counted up, all the dead bodies,
Yeah.
equates to the amount that she has after all these centuries of still living. So,
Did she-
how many bodies does he have?
Didn't she say he surpassed her body count?
Yeah, like the two of them together.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
So pretty
There's a lot of dead bodies.
a lot of dead bodies because of Price's experiments, right? Well, I'm sure he didn't experiment on children, so that makes me feel a little bit better.
Yeah.
But then she reveals that she actually wants to take this guy and use his body's husk to implant her consciousness. And Price is like, "What the?" And it's so funny because he's over there. It's a total cat and mouse game right now. They're like scheming right behind him, and he is none the wiser. For such a brilliant guy, you think he would be, like a little bit tuned into like the energy in the room, but I guess not.
No, he was too fanboying right then and there. So.
Yeah. So he's checking out the specimen. Price totally injects him because he would rather do this than lose everything, pretty much all his experiments. Price
Yeah.
loves his work, right? And they do the transfer, and it's actually successful, which is so. And the first words that come out of her mouth, like the first few lines that come out of her mouth now as Nox, hilarious. Am I right?
Amazing.
Yeah. And then she just starts grabbing her junk. Like she's just like all about it. She's like, this is the best. Like,
It was
oh my
so
God.
funny, but honestly, if you were a woman, then put in that
And I feel
situation and vice versa, that
Yeah.
would totally happen.
That's
Yeah.
what I loved about the whole storyline for this episode. Like here we have like, what would it actually be like for you ladies to be, now your consciousness is in a man's body? Like, how would you feel? The first thing she says is like, oh my God, I'm a hunk. And I liked how they transferred like from being Nox to being her. Like the actor, I didn't even get his name, but the actor did
fabulous.
Yeah, fabulous.
Fabulous.
He did a superb job. He was very, just the way he was acting, he was very like CEO, almost like Bill Gates style, right? And then when he gets transformed into her, then he's just very flamboyant and like colorful, just the way Olivia is with like her false like bourgeois, right?
Yeah, I initially thought like, oh, they did a good job putting Famke in that guy's face mask, which I knew, of course, was not true, but the guy was so good.
I think he did a great job because I think he had all the mannerisms and the physical movements of her down to a T.
Yes.
And where that actor had a benefit is he's got 3 seasons of information. Probably at that point, like he had the 2 seasons of information to watch, so he could really dig in and get all of these juicy little bits.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
Great job.
just fantastic. And then there's like the struggle, the banter, like everything going on, and the body, Olivia's body was still there, and they're like, okay, Price is like, okay, I suggest we get rid of it. Let's get rid of the bodies so she doesn't find out what's really going on, because behind the scenes, Price is really scheming, right? We'll talk about him more later, but with Olivia, and she wakes herself up, right, which is so creepy. Am I right?
To see yourself talking to yourself.
Yeah.
I mean, we got a little tidbit of Camilla
Yes.
in season 2 when we were having that exchange.
Camilla.
With-
You mean Priscilla?
Priscilla.
Priscilla.
That's it. These
Yes.
names. I'm
Yes.
thinking maybe Camilla.
Priscilla and Shelley, right?
Yes. Those two.
Yeah.
So we had a little bit of that, but now we had it with Olivia.
Yeah, so there was no consciousness before in the previous mind because he wiped it out completely. I don't know if he must have not been doing that with these new experiments now, because there's always like that dynamic within the brain, and somehow the other personality always ends up taking over, whichever one was in there first.
I felt like one was Olivia and then the other was the inner desire.
The inner desire.
Mm-hmm. The ID.
Oh, okay. Maybe, yeah, it could have been the id. Yeah. But anyway, so there's she wants to F herself, to send herself off. This is too funny. And
amazing.
When and I loved the lines preceding that, because Price is like, are you freaking serious? Your narcissism knows no bounds, Olivia. Yeah. And she really wants to go through with it.
And then he's like, then quite literally, go F yourself.
Yes, quite literally, Olivia. Go fuck yourself. Which is so great.
It was amazing.
It's amazing. But when she starts like stroking herself, wakes herself up, and then they almost immediately they start taking off each other's clothes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Disturbing.
Oh my gosh. That's wow, right?
Very X-Men 3.
Yeah.
Jean Grey with Wolverine.
That's right. That's right.
It was like very similar.
And her hair is about the same length, actually.
Pretty much. It was like, okay, I've seen this before.
Yep. And he's a hairy dude. He's got a lot of beard.
True.
Right?
True.
But we have Knox Olivia kissing Olivia, and he realizes that, whoa, she's all kinds of stuff all over her face now, right? It appeared to us, right?
Yep.
He was blind to it before. Maybe it just popped up. Maybe it's always been there and we've just never seen it because it's like we're blinded. We're seeing it from her perspective a lot of the time. That's what I want to say.
Or there was that much makeup that the little bit of making out uncovered all that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it could be that too.
Maybe.
So, Chongo.
Or maybe
ahead.
when she gets emotional, like blood
flares
flares
up.
up.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, it could be that too.
Maybe.
And I realized because Knox Olivia put his hand over his face, and I feel like, whoa, what if the saliva could be carrying the virus and it infected the body already? It's like too late, It's just like any kind of viral fluid transfer, right? Crazy stuff. But
That's how it happens.
yeah, it could have happened.
Gotta use protection, kids.
Yes, you have to use a whole body condom, especially with vampire
Personal
and
bubble.
oopir infectious diseases.
Yeah.
You can't risk it.
It's not worth it, bro.
Why?
it's
Why
not.
would he do that? Right?
In love with himself.
He's totally
Herself.
totally in love
More
with
so.
herself. It's so weird. Anyway, so now there's two of them, and Price even says like, Olivia, meet Olivia, right? At one point, because they totally start to be bitches to each other. Am I right?
It was amazing.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, you really are just arguing with yourself.
It's
You
so
realize how
Yeah.
ridiculous you are.
yeah, and she decides, and Chongo's there now. Decides to go through the whole like battery of questions, like to make sure that everything's okay with the brain and the consciousness, right? And he gets high marks, right? But then later on, we have Olivia she's the only way she really comes to acceptance is that she sees the video of the cannibalistic rat that Price had. And that's what's going to happen to her. So she can't live. Probably he said few hours, few days from then,
Yeah.
she was going to eat herself.
That's crazy that it's so far along, but she doesn't look like the other monster Upirs, like the other infected Upirs at this point. So when he said that it was like, oh, you could be doing that in the next few hours or days, I was like, well, I don't know. I don't quite believe that.
Yeah.
Because that rat was like all like weird.
Oh, that was nasty.
Yeah.
Even though she's covering with makeup, her skin is still like, she doesn't have boils.
Yeah, she doesn't.
Yeah.
And I was actually going to say, when they get her into the bed and they're about to do the morphine drip overdose to kill her, to give her euthanasia, she actually looked so angelic right there. I loved it. I was like, Famke, you look amazing as Olivia right in that scene.
Right.
It was just shocking
when
to me.
doesn't
It's like
she?
yeah, I know. But it's just like with all the disease ravaging Olivia, it's like you would think there'd be a little bit more of that present, but it was like, well, she's accepting it now, which is great. And that's one of the things I want to talk about too in this episode is there was a lot of acceptance from all the major storylines. Like we of course I'm jumping ahead a little bit, but I just want to mention how we get acceptance from Peter about finally finding the body, right? We get Olivia accepting that she's gonna die, and she's just gonna give it up to her new person, right? To the Knox Olivia. And then we have the acceptance with Shelly too, like, hey, I'm gonna go leave and I'm gonna go take off with Aitor, right? It's like everybody's accepting things. Any thoughts on that? Not so much.
I think it's more so it comes out of reluctance.
Yes, it is out of reluctance.
Acceptance.
Yes, total reluctance, then the acceptance, but then there's an interruption with everything.
Everybody
totally gets interrupted at their best moment. Maybe not Peter. Peter, we'll
get to that.
He pretty much accepted it. But Olivia Knox goes down the same sputtering way that we've seen all the other hosts.
Okay. Every time we see a body, freak out, more so the Greek guy, every time we see his test and whatnot, and when he starts flipping out, he always says the word Mac Nam.
Yeah.
And Olivia / Knox also said the word Mac Nam.
Why?
What's that word?
I don't know.
Is it McNamara? But it's that exact word, Mac Nam. That's the first word that they say before they start freaking out.
Wow, I didn't catch that, but that is very.
I wonder if that has significance.
Yeah, I wonder too. Maybe there's some kind of coding thing between
Mac Nam.
the brainstem. I don't know, and
maybe.
the neural imprinting. But I thought it was funny because Price knew about it the whole time, and so let's talk about his reluctance, right? So he's reluctant to obviously input this great guy into or Olivia's consciousness into his body. He does a transfer, and then after he's done the transfer, he's already scheming behind her. Like, he probably knew beforehand that he couldn't do this. He's been trying to perfect this the whole season, and it hasn't worked, right? He's been trying to put himself in the Greek dude, and
well, we the audience know it hasn't worked yet. So
yeah, and even when he put himself in the Greek guy, the second time, he just came back on his own, and the consciousness is still there floating around. So whenever you put yourself in someone else's consciousness due to Price's machine, your consciousness is still going to float around in there somehow.
Yeah, the drive isn't formatted. It's just adding more files in there.
I guess it's kind of like
temporary files are left over.
Yeah, temporary files, or like a virus. It's like a computer virus. Once you get something in there, it's going to be hard to wipe it out.
Perhaps.
Right?
Yeah.
So I love the scene though where it's such a short scene, but he's at his computer and he's talking into his recorder as usual, right, about the whole transfer and everything. He's like, the neurodegradation could lead to like some, and then he's pretty much leading into that she's gonna die, perhaps.
Yeah.
And he turns it off. This time he doesn't say full stop. He turns it off, which would be immensely pleasurable and very, a great
cause for celebration. A great line. Amazing.
I loved it. But ultimately, when she realizes like the jig is up, Chongo's there too, and he's like, kill. He's really taking over now, and she's about to kill Price. Thank goodness he gets saved. I love Price. We love you, Joel. Love you.
We love him so much. Yes. I'm glad she didn't kill him either.
So he concedes to her, and he's like, okay, you know what? I'm going to help you still, and without me, you're just going to eat yourself, right? So he concedes, and he says he's going to take care of it. What should we do with the waste? And she feeds on him. It doesn't show it, right? Does it show? I don't think it shows in the episode. But I thought it was kind of funny how Joel,
Did you watch ahead?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
No, I didn't watch ahead. But I'm gonna watch the next two tonight because we're gonna have our finale tomorrow.
Yes. Double trouble.
You guys, this is a cause for celebration for the end of Hemlock Grove. Tomorrow, we're giving you like a little. We're telling you right now, so tomorrow at 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Pacific time, we're gonna be talking about the last two episodes of this awesome 3-season of Hemlock Grove, this 3rd season of Hemlock Grove. It's going to be great. Anyway, so he says, I'm the only one who could save you, and he reveals something very important. Maybe, like, it has to be really close to your DNA or your nucleotides, whatever. And she's like, well, like a family member? Which is a stunning conclusion for Olivia to draw, right?
And she had no qualms about it. She's like, oh, okay, great.
Yeah, she's like, later, Annie, what?
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah, she really doesn't care about her siblings. Her
would go
children.
with my predictions if Olivia killed Annie.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Because Annie right now is the closest to physical and genetic form of Olivia.
She's a female. She looks a lot like her.
She's tall and beautiful and brunette. Done.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, because then Olivia can continue living her life the way that she has. You know,
And she's even younger.
Yep.
So we have more centuries to live.
She's got to be at least 30 years younger. 30, 40 years younger, right?
Mm-hmm.
No, less than that. No, because she had her when she was a teenager.
Teenager,
Yeah, so she's only like a decade or so younger. More than a decade.
But still.
But still, that's like craziness. I think you're going to be right on that early prediction. But anyway, so Price actually goes off to find Shelly. Everybody finds her so easily at the Rooster Poot. And he asks her about who she's seeing, right? He's heard about, he says at first, don't if your mother ever calls you, be careful, just call me right away. And I love how she just refers to him as Uncle Johann. It's so touching, and like just the way they talk to each other.
Family.
What'd you guys think about that?
I loved that interaction, especially like when she's like, I've got a secret, and he's like, well, I've got a secret too. I've been seeing somebody, and she like straight up is like, oh, who is he? And you can see that like both of them being so happy to be accepted by someone else, which both of them kind of don't have too much of.
I think it would, maybe, I don't want to say it as a goodbye, but it felt like a full circle with the relationship, that it might have ended on a good note, and it came back to the topic of butterfly. I mean, we know Shelly's whole metaphor for the whole show has been a butterfly, and in the Monarch stage, I mean, we'll get to Ator, but in the Monarch stage, that's the last phase. Yeah. So it does, just storytelling wise and character art wise, it's coming full circle with those two.
Yeah.
So it would be sad if that was the last interacting
it
scene.
It did feel like that to me.
It felt like a goodbye.
Maybe not though. Maybe they'll still see each other in the next 2 episodes.
Maybe.
We'll see. Maybe she'll end up at the White Tower somehow, fighting for her life. Maybe
killing her mother.
Killing her mother. Right? See, exactly. But then. I really, about that scene too, the exchange, I just loved how she did it without hesitation too. Like, oh, who is he? Right? And it was just like the acceptance, just like he was reluctant at first to share, right? But the acceptance just like washed over him so beautifully. And I loved that. It was such a cherishable moment. I also wanted to point out before we move on from Price, that his hair now is so neatly combed, and I know why. He was growing this out to prepare for Chief Inspector Ito in The Man in the High Castle.
Yeah.
Totally, because that's the look he's got in that show.
Nice.
I liked how his character cleaned up.
Oh, yeah.
Price, like, now we can take him seriously again.
Yeah.
He went off the deep end, and now he's back.
Yeah, and he talked about seeing Roland, this guy, right? I think that was his name. But they don't show any scenes with him, which I think is good, because even though I would have liked to have seen them, but because we only have 2 episodes left after this, there's no way we could squeeze in all these like extra relationships here and there.
Yeah,
it's tough. It's tough with the characters we have.
His
right
biggest
now.
relationship is with Olivia.
Yes, yeah, it is
For
and
the show.
He's her biggest adversary.
Yeah,
which is so great. Good. I love that she said that. Oh man, let's talk about Roman digging the grave for our beloved Destiny at the beginning of the episode, the very first scene.
I'm still mad. I'm still
Marisa,
very...
I would like to extend my condolences to you for your favorite character being offed.
I'm still very mad. As if you're listening on iTunes and you're not watching us on YouTube, you should. I'm still wearing black because I'm still in mourning over Destiny, and she is Romani. She's an amazing character, and she is of the Romani culture, and she didn't have a proper funeral.
Nope.
So I'm going to keep wearing black until her character gets a proper funeral.
Well, maybe she's going to get one next episode.
Maybe. But I'm just mad that's how it went down with her character. Literally down into the ground, and with no respect to her. Like, what the hell, Roman? What the hell?
Yeah, what?
Like, you are past the point of no return to the point that I can like you again.
Yeah, and you know what? Not only that, I'm wearing black too to commemorate her memory. But not only that, but he did have, I must say, he did have a lot of reluctance on her face putting her in the ground, even though he
felt remorseful. You can
Yes.
tell he was worried and he felt bad. But I was like, that's not enough, you dude. You already killed her.
Yeah, I know. And I almost feel like he wanted to caress her cheek again, putting her in the ground like he did before he snapped her neck last time. Oh my gosh. But it's funny because last episode ended with him, and then this episode began with him. He's been doing this through the night. It's already dawn, and he's been digging her grave all night. Mm-hmm. Oh man. So he does one final thing, which I thought was funny, but I was like, why is he doing that? Like, that just stands out. Obviously, it stands out to me that he's taking her ring, her engagement ring, or her wedding ring, whatever, the engagement ring, which is probably going to be her wedding ring. Anyway, so he obviously had it in his pocket, and he used it for what he needed to, which is funny. Like, it came into play.
I think that was more very convenient on his part. It's like, oh, hey, good thing I took the ring.
Yeah.
Because now I can make Milan set him up to make it look like it was him. When I saw it, I was like, is this like a twisted kind of trophy thing that he's doing? Is he taking it because he wants to remember how much of an ass he is? I don't know.
Yeah, when he first took it, I wasn't quite sure if he took it with a plan, but knew that this could be useful, like, because it's such an iconic piece and it had been in their family for generations, that he's like, well, if I'm going to try to dig myself out of this could be helpful.
Yeah.
Because it's not like he needs money. It's not like he just likes to keep weird things like that. Mm-hmm. It was just I don't know, let me just take it. Just take it just cause.
Yeah, I guess it was like a subconscious thing that obviously the writers did a good job of using that later on. Right?
Yes.
As well as Roman. So he talks to Peter. Peter comes in. We actually got to see that he was holding Annie hostage between last episode and this episode. Like, what the
hell?
He is just too messed up, man. And he was trying to justify everything that he did. Am I right?
I'm not a murderer. I'm not a murderer. Like, bro.
Yeah.
Bro, can we talk about this?
Yeah, and not only that, but he is so, like, his bromance is being taken over the edge here. I've never seen a bromance like this in film or television, where he killed his best friend's cousin, and he obviously covered it up, right? He's not telling the truth, all for the sake of keeping his friendship with his best friend.
No, but that's the ironic thing. A bro wouldn't do that.
Exactly. You know what? I feel like he's just so emotionally fragile as a person, because look, how many friends did he have in high school when we saw him in season 1?
No one.
No one. He was just effing girls all the time, right? And then when we finally meet someone who's, I guess, like him, because he's an outsider, because outwardly he's an outsider because he's Roma, right? But he's also a creature. He's a wolf, and then we have him being Roman's a noob here, right? So there's a connection right there, and then they solve all these mysteries together, like the Hardy Boys, right? Are you crying? You look like you're crying over there, Marielou.
They're like, little moment.
But I just think it's like a messed up bromance that he's got going on in his mind, and it's so funny, like, that Peter is so blinded to it. Like, he doesn't even think, like, hey, are you holding something back from me? Like just the small things that he says. Like, he sees the knuckles being bruised, and he's like, hey, like, what's going on with that? And he's like, oh, it was because of the shooting over at the Godfrey White Tower. Just don't worry about it.
Yeah, I'm just surprised that there were all these little hints towards Roman being the one who killed and is the reason why Destiny's gone, but Peter didn't put 2 and 2 together yet.
Yeah, you would have thought that he would have, like, maybe dirt under his nails or something, right?
Yeah.
Or Peter is a sensitive guy because of his wolf senses. You think he would have smelled...
Sniffed it out.
Yeah, he would have sniffed it out.
Destiny scent all over him.
Exactly. He was in contact with her body the whole time, like, digging and, like, carrying her, right? He had to put her in his truck, or what, his Benz, his Jeep, right?
His Mercedes-Benz.
His Mercedes-Benz SUV, right? So, I don't know,
that was a slight plot hole that did bother me, because not to jump far ahead, we see at the end he's using the scent. It was like, you could have easily done that earlier.
Yeah, he could have. Am I right?
But maybe it's gonna go backwards, because then he's gonna smell Roman on Destiny's corpse.
Yes, exactly.
To.
That was gonna be my prediction, damn it.
Oh,
You
well,
got
it's
it,
okay.
Lou.
Well, there you go.
But
Killed it.
Yeah. So anyway, we have the connection with Milan. Roman connects them. He's like, doesn't he say something like, hey, what about that guy? Like, what if he had something to do with this? And they go to him directly to confront him.
Yep.
And this is the second person that Roman is downed TKO with one punch, right? Oh man.
I think I put in my notes, punches are getting less effective.
Yes.
But I mean, we're seeing them, but I was like, wow, he just went down. Damn.
But, yeah, he did. It was kind of like
it was anticlimactic in a way too.
Yeah, it was a little funny the way he kind of hit really weakly against it. I would have expected the shoes to maybe come off a little bit, but they looked like they were completely still. So, yeah.
Sure.
But anyway, so they have him. They start threatening him. He's threatening them first, but then they're like, you don't know who you're messing with. You think you know who we are? You do not. We're a vampire and a werewolf. Booyah. Right? Play rap music over that.
Yep, pretty much.
So I liked how Roman opened his mouth, extended his jaw like that, which is creepy whenever he does it. And this time we got to see it slowly. Oh my god.
Pretty awesome, because we haven't really seen that intentionally.
Yes.
Like that.
Exactly.
Other than the guy that they killed at the blood bank.
Yeah, the guard, right. And then we have just a flash of the eyes from Peter, which was nice too. And then the torture ensues, right? They start torturing Milan, and I'm thinking to myself, you know who the real puppet master is behind all this is Roman, because he knows what he did.
And he's just standing back there looking just guilty as fuck. Dude, he's just like, yeah, totally. That guy.
Yeah, he has someone following Destiny? Does he know about me? Oh, he's so close to getting caught.
Seriously. And but then what pushed Peter over the edge was finding the ring. And we of course Roman planted
conveniently
it
placed.
Conveniently placed. It's nice that we were in the accessory room. Right?
He's like, "Oh, look at this watch. Is this the watch, Peter? Look."
Look what I found. It's like a kid who stole something from the liquor store. Like, Mom, look, I found a Twizzler on the staircase of the house. Yummy, right? Look what I found, the ring. Oh gosh, that is so convenient. So seriously, man. And then we have Milan, obviously in disarray. I have so many enemies. All these different gangs and mafias could have done this to me. And then we have. Peter, eventually, he's giving up. They've tortured him for a while now.
Oh, poor guy.
Yeah.
He just wants to find Destiny.
Yes.
Yeah. Also, this
bad.
guy being so deep in his mob, the two 20-something guys easily got in there to torture him.
Where's the security?
Yeah.
He has a room full of shoes, but no security.
Yeah.
You're spending your money the wrong way, bro.
I don't trust a guy that has more pairs of shoes than a woman would.
Oh man.
And they could arrest them.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. This is craziness.
Something's up with him.
Yeah. I remember, a few episodes ago, we got to see his house at night. And there was tons of security all over the place, right?
Apparently not during the day.
Not during the day. All the guys are partying during the day.
Off.
Yeah. Anyway, so we it's torture to see Peter getting tortured, to see Milan getting tortured, and then Roman's just like, all right, I need to step up my game here. And then he goes to him. He's like, well, if you're not lying, were you lying then or lying now? Because I think you're lying both times. I'm gonna snap your femur. Right?
Just the most painful injury in the human body.
Yeah. It's the largest bone in the human body.
It's the most painful sound to hear, too. Just in general.
Yeah, it was such a subtle snap, and it was just But that set Peter off too, because immediately after he heard that, he started licking his lips, right? Like a wolf licking his chops for the kill.
Oh.
And he went back in there, and he was just like, you know what? I'm gonna do this. And so
Beat the crap out of him.
Beat the crap out of him. So his punches were not as effective as Roman's. The one-hitter quitter punches.
Yeah. His were actually effective. So.
Yeah. So then they kill him. They don't show exactly how they kill him, I'm sure. Peter probably beat him to death, and then we got some blood drainage from Roman. And now we have Milan dead, and that he's the patsy, right? He got everything pinned on him, and now he's dead. The only thing that's left is to find the body, and that's where we have him do the scent thing, like you mentioned, Marissa.
Yeah.
And then he goes off into the woods, the specific woods that Roman again.
Right. Yeah. I didn't know if I had missed something. How did he get to the exact there's a lot of woods up in these areas.
But Roman pointed it out.
Okay.
Because he came back into the room and Peter was on the floor crying. He was like, he said it's probably buried in this
Gotcha.
forest.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah,
where
then I did miss that.
Milan's men were supposed to take us
to,
to kill us if he was going to kill him.
So he pretty much just told Peterborough to find the body.
Yeah, which is like a little nice plant, like easily move the plot along.
Selling himself, though.
Yeah, so
Eventually.
Yeah, he is. It's going to be his downfall. I know it. Just because he loves his bro so much that he wants him to find the body, but he just doesn't want him to know that he did it.
But if he loved his bro so much, he wouldn't even kill Destiny.
He would not have. But he's just so impulsive.
You're right.
That's the thing about Roman. He's just like an impulsive idiot, right? And he wants to do everything he wants to do with none of the consequences. Mm-hmm. Am I right?
Instant gratification.
Yeah. And that's what happens when you have like this rich kid in a mansion in a white tower, right?
It runs in their family.
Yeah, but you got to remember, he's the son of Olivia, so it makes sense.
Well, he's sure turned into a monster.
That he did.
Of his own doing, nobody else's.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But you could do the whole nurture versus nature thing, and maybe it was
No,
Olivia.
that was his doing.
That was his doing.
Right.
Okay. Let's do that. Lastly, let's talk about Shelly and her and Ator, right? We didn't get too much of them, but it was melancholy. It was sad. There was hope. There was like this hope that she was going to go off with him. He invited her to go travel across the states with him to go to Maine and see the monarchs, right?
Yeah.
They're gonna go see butterflies.
Aw, this is sad.
Marissa, you brought your own cube here.
I did. Okay, because there was the scene where he's talking his thinking cube, which is solid blue, which actually there are Rubik's cubes that are solid colors, mostly for the blind, so they can have white and gray and whatever colors. So I had the actual Rubik's cube.
Yeah, and you're very good at doing the Rubik's Cube.
It's just a Rubik's cube.
Oh, it's just a Rubik's Cube. What are you talking about? You are like the master.
To validate my nerdiness.
Yes.
There's the Rubik's cube.
Yes.
You can
I don't think anybody
did.
doubted it.
Believe me, guys, I saw her doing this before the show. Like, I don't even want to attempt this because I know I will mess it up. But earlier, she was like, oh, I'm going to make a checkered on one side. Click, 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 click. Oh, look at that. It's perfectly checkered on every side with the opposite colors. It's amazing what Marissa can do with this thing. So kudos to you, Marissa.
A lot more people have saw this before I have. So there you go. Thank you.
Yes.
It's because you're magical.
It was actually very convenient that I still had that on me.
Yeah, that's great.
It made sense.
So we have his thinking cube that he has, right? It's all blue, which is actually super cool because it's like, hey, think outside the box. It doesn't matter what move you make. Every move's the right move.
But blue's a melancholic color.
It is melancholy, and that's the way he is. He does have a very melancholy life, even though he has like a lot of. Well, obviously he has a really horrific background with killing somebody, right?
Yeah.
But he's atoning for it. He's atoning for it, doing all these nice things for people on the outskirts of society, and that's perfect for him, right? So Shelly's still contemplating leaving. She ends up accepting it like in her mind, I guess, when she goes to her room and her friend is doing the graffiti in her room, and she's like, yeah, you gotta go, you gotta show the world who you are, you're gonna make it big, it doesn't matter what you look like, right? Because she's already, how many, 2 million views? Was it 500 million?
Yeah, they hit like 2 million.
Yeah, it was huge.
But she did make the good point. She's like, I never had friends anywhere. What difference would it make?
Yeah.
I was like, you just made friends there at Rooster Poot.
Yeah, she did.
So many.
She doesn't see that. She's blinded because she's grown up like her whole life, like people shunning her, and maybe a few select family members liking her. But
see, there were times where, at the end of season 1, beginning season 2, she ran away. Yeah. But this time, she's actually deliberately leaving now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she wants to physically move.
of her free will, because there is nobody holding her there now.
She's an adult now, pretty much, right? She has this guy that she's in love with. She's graduated from high school, I guess, right? She's smart enough to, I'm
legally
sure.
emancipated, I'm sure.
Yeah, exactly. So she says that she wants to be with him. She tells everything to Price when he visits her, but then they see Ator breaking down. And we saw this happening from episodes ago when Olivia went to plant that seed in his mind, like, we know who you are. I know. Chongo knows too, and he wants to get at you. So we got to see his mugshot. We know he did something. We didn't know exactly what it was until this episode. He told us exactly what it was in the most colorful and melancholy way.
Yep.
Right? He tells about his story, and he does a metaphor with like 3 wishes in the bottle, but there's no genie. Or was it no? I forgot what it was. I think it was no genie. That's what he said.
Just the bottle.
Just the bottle. So pretty much he was an alcoholic, right? Just giving in to the drink, and he ends up backing up in a drunken stupor in his car, and he runs over an old man from the neighborhood.
Yeah.
Which was, it's awful, right? It's a terrible tragedy.
It is terrible. I think I said last episode, I was like, he killed someone, but I don't think it was out of maliciousness. It was out of accident, so manslaughter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Vehicular
manslaughter.
Yep.
There
So
you go.
I think this is a little bit of a waste of the Hemlock Grove Police Department's resources to head over after this guy at Rooster Pit.
True.
What do you think?
Only to have him leave.
Yeah.
Leave Shelly.
Leave Shelly stranded.
Very sad.
Ugh.
And all I thought, as terrible as that scene was, and everyone's running away, and he drives away after she's trying to say, I love you. I just kept hearing Olivia's words like, men leave. I was like, yep, there you go. Men leave.
That's terrible.
It's happened so many times in the show. Men leave.
Yep.
Validating her point, as sad as it is.
So Aitor flees, and that's probably going to be the end of it. We're probably just going to see Shelly really downtrodden next episode, down on herself, because she's probably going to think he left for... Well, obviously, it's kind of obvious that the police were the reason for leaving, but still, he could have faced the music, really. If you want to man up and be like, hey, I've been running from the law, I've done some bad things, I should just do it. At least that way Shelly would know where he is so she can visit him. What do you ladies think? Should he go to jail? Should he have fleeing?
Well, that's his way he's been living, is fleeing. Mm-hmm. So Shelly being a new thing for him isn't necessarily going to change this pattern that he's been on for most of his life. So of course, like, that's his impulse, is like, well, gotta go, cops here, gotta go.
Yeah, it's crazy because, doing the research on the whole monarch butterflies and whatnot, when they hatch and they become full monarch butterflies, they come out of their hibernation to find a mate. And they had the exact line verbatim, like, I found my mate. Mm-hmm. And then he left. So I was like, oh, yeah, that kind of makes sense with the whole monarch butterfly stories. Like, they find the mate and then they leave.
Oh, yeah.
That's exactly what happened with Aitor.
That's actually a really beautiful metaphor.
It's a really sad metaphor, too,
one.
The way that they executed it in the show.
Yeah. I wanted to say you can take the poot out of the rooster, but you can't take the rooster out of the poot.
Sure.
Yep.
Yeah! Love it.
Excellent timing.
Okay, was there anything else we wanted to talk about in this episode?
Just a little bit.
Oh my gosh, she had a very small storyline, right? She was taken hostage. Totally bad liar, right?
Well,
what was that?
I'm not sure about bad liar, but
yeah. She
wants protection, pretty much.
No, she's a bad liar because when Peter came in and he asked her, "Have you seen Destiny? Do you know if she's been by here?" And she was just like, and she looked straight down, like, totally guilt-ridden all over her face.
She, the equivalent of Bajram was to
yes,
Peter.
Yes, almost there. She's like the female equivalent of it, right?
Yeah.
The female non-dumbass version.
I'm gonna leave now.
So she took off.
Don't call her dumbass, because she's cool.
No. I was talking about
Bajram was a dumbass.
But that's what I was saying. The female. I said non-dumbass version. Yes.
There you go.
Yes. So she took off, and she gets herself a Desert Eagle, which is a .50 caliber gun. That thing is, you can stop a damn lion with that. Probably an elephant. It's huge.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, that guy! I wanted to slap him.
But
I was like, stop being so
all of breast
chauvinistic
cancer
right
pink.
now. What
very,
a pig!
Very chauvinistic, very misogynistic.
Yeah.
And
what a
then
pig.
she puts him in his place. She's like, oh well, I was on whatever Bravo company, Delta company, whatever.
LZ. Dropped in the LZ at the Battle of Wenat. This actually happened July 13, 2008.
Oh really?
Yeah,
oh,
so
okay.
not
that's
that long
very
ago.
Recent.
Which was actually the 2nd Battalion, which is the one she was on.
Is that Iraq, Afghanistan?
Afghanistan.
Very cool. Wow. She
yeah.
like rubbed that in his face, and he was just like, "Oh, I'm sorry. I had no idea."
You guys didn't mind it when I did that.
Yeah. So she's a nurse. She's a combat nurse.
Mm-hmm.
So she knows her stuff, right? Yeah. Pretty cool. I love Annie.
I was like,
She's
okay,
amazing.
You're even more badass.
Yeah.
Love it.
Totally badass. And I think, was there anything else? I think that
she gets protection, which she might use it.
She's going to use that against somebody. Did you have any news and gossip?
Well, before we now know that we're going to Erie, Pennsylvania.
We do.
Yes.
Yes, that's right. I forgot to mention that Roman ends up connecting the dots. He gets a call from the cop, right? That cop was so utilitarian. They didn't even show his face, right?
Yeah.
Just
They still haven't, no.
No. So we don't know who it is. It's probably not anybody we're going to learn about. We don't need to. But he says the helmet smorgasbord thing, and that totally clues in Roman. He's like, wait, I need to tell Blinsky this. Blinsky!
Yeah. He's
Right.
like, I wasn't sleeping either. You weren't opening your phone.
You weren't answering your phone either.
Yeah, so
Jerk.
they look it up and they find it like that, which is great. And now they know. He's just, this whole episode, well, other than the whole lying thing, but these last several episodes, he's just been obsessed with trying to find Spivak.
Yeah.
And he wants to save Nadia, perhaps get Miranda back too, but she might be dead.
She might be dead.
We don't know.
No, like it just kind of bothered me that we've gone so many episodes and we don't know what's going on over there. When we had that one really strong episode where we saw like the torturous things that were happening, and then nothing.
Yeah, that's why I said at the beginning of the season, and I guess it's kind of come true, that Spivak, I didn't make it a prediction, but I mentioned this. I said Spivak is probably a MacGuffin. We're probably never going to see him like this whole season, but it's just to motivate the other characters to find him.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
It's coming to a head, though.
Yeah,
That's for sure.
we didn't even see him last episode when he like on the other end of
he
like
was in a robot.
controlling Trevor on the other end. We didn't get to see that.
And I think that's what makes for awesome characters, that they don't have to be physically in a scene to have the presence felt.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that's for sure. So we're gonna go to Erie, Pennsylvania.
Erie, Pennsylvania.
Very cool. Well, let's go ahead and move in to our predictions.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
What do we got, ladies?
All right,
Shoot 'em
so-
away.
Olivia, right, is going to try to get into Annie's body, right? Mm-hmm. It's going to be successful, but while the bodies are still there, Shelly, who is now just heartbroken and finds out that her mom sent Ator away, is going to kill Olivia, not knowing Olivia is now in Annie's body. So she thinks that she's going to kill Olivia, but Olivia will win in the end.
Whoa. I like that one a lot. That's very outside the box.
Mine's kind of like that, but with different people.
Okay, all right.
I have Annie will shoot Roman, and this might be out of order, but I think Peter will maybe attack Annie when he finds out that Roman killed Destiny, like woman for woman kind of deal.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Oh, okay.
That'd be like really sad.
Whoa.
That'd be like really sad. But then Olivia will kill Annie, take her body, and then when Peter, maybe Roman, who knows? I still think it'd be great if Roman killed Olivia. Then I think Annie will shoot Roman.
Whoa.
Because now she has a gun.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
So
my gosh.
the gun might come into play, as sad as that would be. And then maybe Destiny will come back. I don't know.
I was kind of hoping like
I put-
corpse Destiny would,
Reanimated
Yeah.
by
Yeah.
Christ.
we have like
That'd be a name.
zombie Destiny.
We'd have to, the way that would happen would be we'd have to have Peter, there'd have to be an ellipse, and we'd have to somehow get Peter and Destiny's corpse to Price's lab.
Yeah.
And then he can, and this would all be through asking Roman for a favor.
Right.
Right? Which I'm sure Roman would grant.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, bro.
Wait,
yeah, I'll help
wait,
you.
Wait, but if he grants it, is she going to remember what happened?
Ooh. I don't know. That's hard.
Yeah, that's crazy stuff. This is what I think's going to happen. I feel, where are all my stuff? Where's my predictions at? Here they are. I feel like Peter will smell Roman scent on Destiny's clothes. That was, we got spoiled on that one. You took my prediction.
Sorry. My bad.
I feel like, you guys already said a lot of stuff I was going to say. I wrote this a week ago. Olivia will try to get into Roman or Annie's body. I feel like Peter is going to kill Roman. He's going to kill him. I don't think he's going to take the woman for woman kind of thing. I think he's going to straight up go after him because this ruins their friendship.
And you know what? And just a lot of the legends and lore of vampires versus werewolves always win.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It was so vicious?
Usually, it's the majority of the time, the werewolf is always the one that wins.
And you know what? It's probably because they're mortal, too. The vampires think they never are going to die, but they have weaknesses, too.
Yeah.
One last... Oh, wait. Okay, I wrote one more thing down. Well, I think Annie actually could kill Roman too. That's another possibility, and that's because she was about to leave Hemlock Grove, and she just can't put it out of her mind. She's so driven. I feel like she's going to be the one to do it.
That would be crazy.
But it could go either way.
One of my favorite Olivia lines just from this episode, I'm swinging one of these and now I'm just playing better than every woman on the planet.
Oh my god.
She's talking about the dick.
That was so
There you go, that was
funny.
amazing.
She was like poking around there for a while.
It was like, I get it. I was like, yeah, that's true.
And she even, you know what she did too? She punched herself. She didn't show it. The camera didn't show it, but she must have punched herself because she was like, ooh, like not in a pleasurable way. Like, you know, when a guy gets hit down there, it's like, like
nerve endings.
Temporary paralysis. I can't move. Okay, I'm okay. I'm fine. It's back.
Is that how it is?
That's
That's exactly how it is. It could be just like a flick, and it would be like, oh god. Right? So, and then she even had that great line, which was, it doesn't take much to get excited. I think you mentioned that earlier.
No, but that was a great line. She had amazing lines.
Yeah.
Oh, man. So many good retorts in this episode.
First you want to fuck me, and now you want to throw me away? You really are the perfect male specimen.
Oh!
She was so on point. I
It
love
was so
it.
good. So
Okay.
good. Well,
Yes.
I think that does it for us here at AfterBuzz TV's Hemlock Grove After Show. Be sure to tune in tomorrow at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time because we're going to be doing our series finale of Hemlock Grove. We're going to talk about last episodes 9 and 10 together in one 2-hour blockbuster podcast. So be sure to check that out. You guys can follow us here.
You can follow me on Twitter at Serafini TV.
And you can find me on all social media at Marielou Mandl.
And you guys can find me at Sean Austin O. That's SeanAustino on Twitter and Instagram. And be sure to check out my book, City of Angels and Discontent, on the Amazon store. And coming soon, probably within the next month, is going to be the audiobook as well. But check it out. And thanks so much, guys. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.